All right, we're recorded. We'll get going. I'm going to go over some stuff. We haven't done one of these for probably, I don't know, like 3 to 4 weeks. I've just been busy working on other parts of the business and just busy in general. And so we'll try to be more consistent with them. I'll probably end up doing one on YouTube in the not too distant future because the YouTube has been doing pretty well in terms of its growth, and so we might end up moving the lives in the future to YouTube. Um, we were almost at the end of the year now, right? So this business is not exactly like a new thing. It's been probably, a good, almost like a year long sample of us doing this. I mean, if you go back to before the business was even a thing and we were running AI creators, in the end of last year, right? It's been over a year since we've been testing this out. And essentially like not really much has changed. I mean, maybe like there's a little bit more people running AI creators now. And, there's, potentially some more tools and stuff that exist now. Can you guys hear? I mean, can everybody hear me? Okay. Just want to make sure, and that's not just this one guy.
We can hear.
Okay, everybody can hear. I don't know what the problem is with you, so I'm just gonna keep going. And so there's like some new tools and stuff which I think are actually making things maybe a little bit easier for the average person to have success with the AI creators, and go viral on social media, and maybe there's some people here or there that are making some money with NSFW video stuff. I'll get into that. I have some feedback on all of that, and you know not much has changed, right? Like the basis of the business is the exact same. Like you have to grow your social medias, you have to grow your brand, you bring the people in, and you run our monetization strategies, which we've been teaching you guys since the beginning. Not much has changed in terms of like what we're doing internally. The people that are making the most money, everything is literally exactly the same as it was at the beginning of the year. Our pages haven't changed. And if you watch the monetization video that I made on YouTube with Willow, you would see that the cores that we made were from January of 2025. Nothing has changed. We're still using them. And the reason we use them is because they work, right? And we've just replicated that strategy on dozens of pages now, and it keeps working, And so there's no reason to stop something that's making money. And I had a call with a mentor of mine, and who's now basically like a business partner now. And it's like he said something that made a lot of sense to me, which was that the person that makes the most money figures out a boring, systematic way to make money and sticks at it the longest, which is pretty wise stuff. And it seems obvious, but when you actually start making money, it becomes like this pretty boring process. And I think when people come into this, they hear AI and these buzzwords and they think there's some flashy thing going on. But the reality is, like, all the people making money from the business are like these like boring ass dudes doing the same thing every day. Like I just sit in front of my computer and do the same thing mostly every single day, and it gets a little bit stale sometimes. And you're constantly looking for like some new exciting thing, but it doesn't exist. It's the same thing. And I'm going to go over the exact same things that I've gone over in prior Q&A calls because they work, they make money. And so I'm going to keep telling you guys that, right? There isn't some secret sauce. I've already given you guys the secrets, which is that you have to grow your socials, you have to develop strong brands, you have to find viral ideas on social media and replicate them to your brands. And I have some feedback on that as well, and we'll get into that. So that's basically where I wanted to start the call. In terms of what we're seeing on social, so the first thing I'll go over, I'm going to try to take notes this call. I'll do to the best of my ability. So you guys can see my screen. I'm going to open up the chat here just in case anyone has stuff. We'll get into the questions afterwards. So, I'm going to break down, what we're seeing on socials, basically across the board. So I've some feedback on all this stuff. Instagram, generally speaking, is more or less the exact same as it has been the entire year. We've had swings up and down with respect to, the sexuality that's been allowed on the platform. Lately, I've been noticing like more and more sexuality, and I don't know if that's a good thing, because overall, I think that the sexuality has trended down on social medias, which is kind of the opposite that we thought was going to happen at the beginning of this year. Like we were kind of expecting maybe things to get more sexual as time has gone on. That hasn't been the case. And that's been reflected on platforms like TikTok, on Facebook, on Twitter. And I have examples to show you guys for all of that stuff. Okay. I'm not sure what's going on Threads. So I would say like Threads is something that I know the least of, because I think it's the least valuable platform. I know that some people spend a lot of time on these like kind of like large scale Threads operations, and some people are doing pretty well for themselves. That's all good and dandy. But I'll tell you this now, and I'm sure maybe somebody a year from now will reference this point in this video. They're 100% all going to get banned in the future, and it won't exist in the future. Now, you might be able to do some percentage of the scaling that you're doing on Threads right now, but I guarantee it's all going to be banned. And I'll just use Instagram as an example, because it's literally essentially the exact same platform provider being Meta, right? On Instagram, you used to be able to run like dozens of reel pages for your model. But then eventually they released an update that said, hey, all the content on every page needs to be original. And you actually get flagged. And even if it's the same content in the same model and it's all your pages, you'll get flagged for too much reusing of the content. And it was really bad for a while. It's gotten not as bad. But what they really did is they prevented you from running 10, 20, 30 Reels pages like you used to be able to do. Now, the reason you used to be able to run all those Reels pages on Instagram is because the platform itself needed to grow, right? They were trying to compete with TikTok for a while. And so what did they need? They needed content, okay? And where's content going to come from, right? There's not that many people actually posting Reels on Instagram. At least back then there wasn't. So they encouraged people to do these things and they allowed you to exploit their platform. They knew it was going on, right? People somehow think the social medias don't know. They know exactly what's going on. The reason Threads is allowing that right now is for the same reason Instagram allowed the Reels pages a couple years ago, year and a half ago, whatever, right? They need people using Threads. So they're allowing you to exploit the traffic. That's great. Good for everyone exploiting the traffic for right now. That's not going to last forever. Okay. So I'm just warning everyone, what you need to do as a business is you need to diversify your risk and you need to make a cohesive brand that spreads across all the traffic sources. Okay. That's how you actually make real money in this business. So we'll get into that in a bit. We'll go over other platforms. So that's my opinion on Threads. So for Threads, basically my notes would be, if you're mass scaling, spam accounts equals high risk of losing traffic. Okay. Really high risk, right? How can you reduce that risk? Move your traffic to long-term organic traffic social media pages. For example, IG accounts. Okay. If you're running this, the thread spam, you have a lot of traffic that basically could be pretty easily redirected over to Instagram, and you can build out a couple high quality organic Instagram pages for your models with that traffic. Once you do that, it's pretty easy to then move the traffic to things like TikTok, to Twitter, to Facebook. You circle the traffic around. If you want to do the spam traffic to bring in subs through things like CupidBot, that's all fine. Keep doing that, right? I'm not saying don't do that, but I'm saying have a plan of action to do other things with the traffic than immediately monetize, okay? One of the themes of my education is that making money today isn't the only thing that's important. It isn't the only KPI or key performance indicator or whatever that I is called for your business, right? It's not the only thing that matters, right? What actually matters is your audience development over time. Meaning, if you have a Facebook page and you post a story on Facebook, and the guy's options once he clicks on the story is he can either subscribe to FanPlace, he can go to your Telegram channel, he can go to your Instagram or your TikTok or your Twitter. Him choosing not to subscribe, but to instead go follow you on another social media platform should not be viewed as a loss, okay? That guy is becoming invested in your brand. All right. Your money is made over the long run. It's by building out these high quality branded pages where people are invested in your model and what her, the content that she's posting, and eventually they convert over, right? To understand this more deeply, if you get a viral video and it gets 1 million views on social media, okay, let's say you go viral, you get 1 million views. All right. Do you get 1 million subs? Right? Do you get 10,000 subs? No, nobody in the whole world does. Doesn't matter who you are. You could be Sophie Rain, doesn't matter, right? You might get 100 or 200 subs or whatever it is. You could do quite well for yourself, but the vast majority of people that are going to come from that, what they're going to do is follow your brand and sub over a longer period of time, right? It's impossible to quantify this exact metric, or it's extremely difficult to quantify, but that 1 million views might bring you 5,000 followers, which over time could turn into 300 or 400 subscribers. But on that initial day, it's not going to. It's because the intent of the user viewing the content is not super high. Okay. You have to develop your brand. So circling back to Threads, if you're mass scaling spam accounts, you're at extremely high risk of losing your traffic. That means your business goes to zero. You don't want that. Okay. How do you prevent that? You need to build long-term branded pages for your models so you have secondary traffic sources being built on top of what you're currently monetizing. Okay. I've done black hat strategies for the longest time. All right. And that used to be a primary focus of mine 3 years ago. I was goated in that arena. Okay. I built out some of the craziest marketing operations of all time. And you could just reference the business I'm building right now as an example of my ability to build out marketing schemes. Okay. This entire thing is a massive marketing scheme. All right. All you have to do is trap some of your traffic in long-term vehicles while you're doing the high risk, thing, right? Your entire business can't be around high risk stuff, right? It's no different than the stock market, right? If you're trading 100x leverage, hey, maybe you can win some days, but eventually you're going to go busto, right? This is no different. If you're doing these high risk things to make money, you need to have backup plans. That's what real businesses do. They diversify their risk. They have backup plans. If your business is going to be organic social media, there are literally times where people running organic have been deleted off the face of the earth. I don't want that to happen to any of you, which is why I keep warning you. I'll also say that I know several people who are running these strategies who have transitioned to organic, and they're essentially just copying everything that I recommended move for move. And we'll go over some of those pages, and they're making a shit ton of money. Okay. So I think there's significantly higher upside in organic, but if you're, kind of stuck in this loop of making the money off threads in that manner, don't stop. Just plan for the downside. Okay. Have backup plans, have additional options. For Twitter, Twitter is moving to more safe for work content. I don't know if this is a short-term thing. Sorry, I need to have a little bit of water and a cigarette. I don't know if this move on Twitter with their algorithm is a short-term thing or if it's a long-term thing. I have no fucking idea because I'm not Elon. Okay. I do know that there was a period of time over the last couple months where they were having problems with their algorithm and people were complaining. There's a lot of people that always complain about the algorithm because everyone feels like they deserve more reach than they actually do. But at the end of the day, 99.99% of people don't understand how social media works. Okay. And that's a different point. But for Twitter, we're noticing that really safe content is performing better. And here's an example. This is completely covered. This page was totally shadow banned. It was absolutely fried. All right. And we've started posting photos, covered photos, videos, covered videos. Okay. We used to post this stuff. We switched over. We're doing way better. Okay. So the reach immediately came back and we started getting these, higher impression, numbers. And we're seeing this across a large sample size of accounts. Okay. And so what we were noticing is every time we were posting anything, when it was, slightly more open, for example, bikini content like that, snap of a finger, you're getting, flagged. And this leads to a myriad of problems. And if you've watched the Twitter education, which I went over, and there's a link in the, guys, please guys, mute your mics, please. Mute your mics. Come on. I explained in the Twitter education that you need to be deleting content. That's still true. Okay. But the problem is that it was impossible to keep up because everything we posted kept getting flagged over and over and over. So we said, okay, screw this. We're going to get way, way, way less sexual, right? Covered content. And the captions need to be extremely clean. Our captions used to be extremely sexual. Like they literally used to be completely sexual. And now Twitter just started flagging all that stuff. So both of these things. So this is an example. It's a super safe piece of content, but she still looks quite good in my opinion. And she has a super, unique goth look. And if that's what's leading to more people, with our content being reached consistently, then you should be doing that over and over. Okay. And so Twitter X has moved to be significantly more SFW, which again, this is a theme that I'm seeing across all the social media platforms. And I'll make a summary of all this stuff and how I'm looking at it cohesively afterwards. Okay. So it's moved to be significantly more SFW. That's one thing we've noticed. And this is for both the content and the captions. If you're doing the comment reply stuff, I don't have good feedback for that, except what I would say is I think you should separate your accounts, okay? If you have an account that you're spamming comment reply stuff, you could still post on that account and try to grow, but I think there's a higher probability you're gonna get flagged. So what you could do is have a second account that's posting safer stuff. Again, the idea of diversifying your risk. If you have a higher risk strategy, I'm not saying don't do it, but what I'm saying is have a lower risk strategy where you're keeping up and you're trapping all your traffic, okay? So you could still bring guys in from the high risk strategy into your Cupid bot, into your landing pages, whatever it is, but you could also have something in your bio moving guys over to the backup page where you're posting longer term strategy stuff, right? If you have an Instagram and a Facebook or a Twitter or a TikTok, whatever it is, you can move from those landing pages directly to your safer Twitter instead of your higher risk, comment reply Twitter where you're just trying to farm traffic. That's an example of something that you can do. We're also noticing that videos are working just as well as photos. And again, I'll have more comment on that in a second. Okay. For Facebook, same thing. Facebook equals super SFW. Okay. I don't know how many times I have to say this. Your question, Thomas, it has no context. Like I'll explain more. Just listen. Don't worry about your question. Facebook equals super SFW. Okay. What does that mean? Like no boobs, no ass, no sexual themes, no sexual implication on your profile at all. Okay. In anything, in any of your content, in any regard, you're done. You're automatically done. And with Facebook, there is no second chance. Okay. You can't just delete the content like on Twitter or get flagged like on Instagram. If you get a flag on Facebook, you're done, probably forever on that account. And these accounts, they really build in value over time. Okay. And so I'm noticing a lot of people are having problems on their Facebook. I think that the vast majority of those problems are related to the content. You can't post anything that has any amount of cleavage or sexual themes in any regard. You cannot do that. If you do that, you will be banned. Okay. So if you post anything that has cleavage or ass or any form of sexual themes at all on Facebook, you will be banned. You don't want that. Okay. And so what have we done? Right. By the way, to me, this is the exact same as on TikTok. You could literally just say the exact same thing on TikTok. Right. So what have we done? Right. Well, we've merged our strategies on these platforms together. Right. The content that works really well on TikTok seems to be the exact content that works really well on Facebook. So with our systems, what we've done is we've trained VAs to mass produce content, which we know works across both platforms. Okay. We schedule them on TikTok and we schedule them on Facebook, right? That's pretty efficient use of time. So when people are saying, how can you afford all this stuff? What should I pay my VAs? This is a factor, right? You want to make sure that you're not just mass producing content, but you're efficient in what you're doing. That's, additionally, this content can also be reused on Twitter now, right? And so the same content can be used across all your platforms. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Now, of course, there can be some variation to how this works. For example, on Twitter, you can do significantly more comment baiting. So I have some more notes, right? On Facebook, you cannot comment bait on Facebook at all. You will be banned, even if it's SFW, right? So for example, here, describe me in one word, please be honest. I think that there's a high probability you might get flagged or something for doing something like this, right? Or doing something like this. Can I get a high if you think I'm adorable? 470 comments. So on Twitter, they allow you to encourage comment baiting. On Facebook, they don't. So even if it's SFW content and there's no sexual themes, if the caption encourages comment baiting on Facebook, I believe that you will be banned for that. So you cannot do that. You have to be extremely safe with the way that you're doing this. So you can ask questions, but you can't encourage guys to leave a comment. For example, can I get a high if you think I'm adorable? In my opinion, that's over the line for Facebook. It's a different strategy. Okay. So even though the content can be reusable, there are nuances to every platform that you have to pay attention to, right? You want to comment bait on things like Twitter. You don't on things like Facebook. I'm going to say the exact same thing for what it's worth. For TikTok, I don't think you can do that either. Okay. For X, comment baiting equals fine as long as the caption has no sexual themes, swear words, sexual implications. For Instagram. Now, I stopped posting in that virals channel, not because I don't want to post in it, just because I've been really busy and we've been working on other tools to kind of help people with that side of the business, which is, we're working on it. I have a lot of stuff in play that I think is going to be quite useful for a lot of people. This is what I would say about Instagram. I think that people overcomplicate it and they overcomplicate everything in this business. Everything that has to do with social media boils down to one simple thing. Okay. And I'm going to keep saying this because it's the only way that I know how to make money. I'm not some like turbo creative genius creating like all these special things. Like I just know how social media works and I execute it on it every single day. All you need to do is find what's viral and proven to work. Copy it and be consistent. That's it. I know it sounds super simple. Like I can't, that's not working for me. Most people that say that have done like 10 total posts in their whole life. You need to stay at this. You know what I mean? Like you can't expect to just go viral in 1 second. That's not how it works. All right. The people, for example, someone posted in the wins that they made like 25,000 in their first couple of months. That person has been incredibly consistent every single day, posting proven viral winners, and their page has now kind of scaled up significantly and they've gone viral and they've basically hammered the viral strategies on their page multiple times. And I'll show you guys the example page here in a little bit, but I don't feel that anything they're doing is any different than any strategy that you guys could execute on either, right? Like they're just consistent with what they're doing. They have a very clear system for how they're mass producing their content and you know the volume that they're doing with their content and where they're getting their content ideas from. And so what I would say with Instagram is nothing has changed in a year. Literally nothing, right? We launch models, okay? We launch models and we use the exact same strategy that was working a year ago today. Okay. Nothing has changed, right? Why are we doing this? Because it works. The same viral content keeps going viral over and over again. If you go scroll through reels, it's the same fucking girls posting the same fucking content with the same trending audio and the same captions. It's the most boring thing of all time. Like there isn't like this unique magic strategy. There's only so many things that you can actually execute on at scale, right? The whole point of me showing you guys the viral stuff, it isn't for you guys necessarily just to go and copy it. It's to understand my mindset. Hey, these are viral themes. You can go study this page and you can copy it and you can go viral. I'll give you an example. We have like Black creators in the marketplace. And some people have looked at those and said, oh, well, you know, I don't want to run those. Some people are running them. You know, there are several girls, you know, like Black AI girls that are running on social media right now that are doing very well, that are going very viral. And I haven't seen one person say, you know, Steven's models are better than those. What if I just took one of his models and just copied everything that that person is doing move for move and then make money? Like, what do you think is going to happen? They have 1 million followers. They have 1 million followers for a reason because what they're doing is working. Why don't you just go copy exactly what they're doing? Right? There's nothing wrong with that. There's literally nothing wrong with that. And if you study most of the big OnlyFans girls, all of their brands are derivatives of other brands, right? Maybe one girl is unique. For example, Marie D, right? Most of you have they probably know who Marie D is. If you don't, you could just Google her and you'll be like, oh, I know who that girl is. She's very viral. I believe she created the office trend. Okay. And that went super viral last year. All right. Super fucking viral. We made money off it. Everyone made money off of it. Every girl just made an office page and just copied exactly what she was doing. And they all went viral and it went crazy. Eventually, people got a little bit bored of it. It got a little saturated. It wasn't going as viral. So the big girls that had their pages, they kept running them. But a lot of them, you know, maybe they stopped doing it. They got bored. You know how the girls are. They're lazy. Are you lazy? You know, you don't need to worry about a girl feeling that way. You can just keep making the same content over and over again and it'll never run out. We literally have infinity. It's the craziest thing of all time, right? And so we could have hammered that trend to go crazy. And we didn't have AI in the same way. We had some tools back then, but we didn't have it in the same way that we have it right now, right? And so it's like, all I look at is like, there are trends happening right now across every niche of AI, trends that we're starting, for example, the goth stuff. Who the fuck do you think started that? We did. We started it, right? All these other people that you see trying to run goth creators, who do you think they got it from, right? From us. It was our ideas. We made the goth brands and we've made millions of dollars from it. And people are like, holy fuck, these guys are printing. Let me give that a shot. And very few people have been able to do it, by the way, almost no one, except for people really from our community. That's where the vast majority of the money is being made. But that's neither here nor there. That's a separate point. But the point is that they saw something working and they said, holy fuck, let me give that a try myself. Why don't any of you guys do that? Right? I'm asking you, like, think about that for a second. You have Instagram, you have TikTok, you have Facebook, you have Twitter. It's all completely free. You can go on it for as long as you possibly want. You have the models. Just go find one that's viral and copy it, right? And so what I'm working on is a tool to help you identify these pages, right? A tool that will tell you, hey, this is the page that's going viral right now. It's probably one you guys should go look at and start copying. I can't force you to do the work though, okay? And I can't get AI to do the work. But at the end of the day, this is the work. This is the work every single day. Going on social media, seeing what's successful, executing every single day on content to replicate what's successful, having a high quality branded page and posting consistently. And that's it. There is no other formula. That is the only formula that matters. Okay. And the vast majority of you don't do that. You don't post consistently. You don't copy what's proven to be viral. You know, you're not posting any amount of volume. You have no brand. Okay. There is no reinvention of the wheel. So for Instagram, nothing has changed. Okay. That's the big takeaway, right? That's the big takeaway. And like, I've actually taken some time to like take a step back from the business. And, you know, I have a big tendency myself to, you know, get lost in the weeds of things, of scaling all these, you know, different ideas and businesses and projects. At the end of the day, like my business is extremely simple. I need people to sign up and basically get creators, and I need traffic to come to FanPlace. That's it. It's literally two things, right? And I was trying to do a million things. And what I've been spending my time on is condensing my focus, right? trying to not spread myself too thin because I was driving myself mad, spreading myself too thin and all these different ideas. When at the end of the day, it's really that simple. It's like, what do we need to do to bring in more traffic? We just need to post more high quality content. That's literally all it is. So I'm just focusing on stuff to help you guys post more high quality content. That's it, right? And what do I need to do to scale my business more? Well, I need more of you guys running creators. I need to help you guys be successful at that. Those are the only things that I'm focusing on. I had a million other focuses. I shut it all off, right? That's really what I've been spending my time on the last few weeks, is condensing my business down, right? A lot of you, I think, are in that position too, right? You have a million things on your mind. There's so much information here. The only thing that you need to do is figure out what is going viral, how to make that viral content, and how to be consistent posting it every day. That's it. That's the simplicity of the business. You don't have to worry about the adult side, because to be honest, I haven't really seen any person come to our business and actually be successful running on the fan play side, which we'll get into that in a second, right? I haven't seen a single person, right? The vast majority of people actually making money from our business are using our chatters. And I'm not doing that as promotion for our chatters. I barely make anything from that. The only reason I do it is to provide you guys better services so you could focus on social media, okay? I didn't even want to do it in the first place, to be honest. The only reason I did is because people kept asking me, and I'm like, all right, I got to provide this service to the community because it's limiting people's ability to focus on social media. Okay. And so that's basically my opinion on it. It's like the people that are actually making money, right? We did 1.2 million last month, including other stuff. It was closer to like 1.4, 1.5. So call it whatever you want, but we did a shit ton of money last month. We all made money. And at the end of the day, when you break down our top earners and where the money really came from, every single person is doing the exact same thing. Number one, they have a ton of organic traffic coming in across every single vertical. Number two, they have high quality branded pages. Number three, they're really consistent at posting proven viral strategies, and they're consistent with it. They're always posting stuff that's been proven to work on social media. Number four, they're not overly concerned with wasteful things like NSFW video or all this other bullshit that doesn't fucking matter. They're marginal differences. You want to make a difference? Bring in 100 subs a day. You'll make a shit ton of money. Okay. That will actually make a difference. Okay. And so first principles, where's the money coming from? It's coming from the traffic, right? So that's basically my opinion on all these different social medias. And to tie it all together, right? To tie everything together. And this is something that I've preached over and over again in these Q&A live calls over and over. Cohesive brand development across all socials. What does this mean, right? What does this mean for those who don't understand? What this means is you have a brand that people can follow no matter what social media that they're on, right? You want someone following you on every single social media, okay? This is where the money comes from, right? The guy finds you, and when he finds you, he has low intent. What does this mean? What does intent mean? If you go study SEO traffic, which is things like Google, you'll find that people that are Googling certain things have really high intent for that item. For example, if you're running ads for a local business and someone Googles something for that local business, the chance that he will spend money is higher. Why? Because he's specifically looking for that thing. Ask yourself, how many guys on social media are specifically looking for your model? Not that many, right? But they find them because social media knows that your model is posting good content, and it knows that that guy is potentially interested in that content. And so you might hook the guy in, but that doesn't mean that the guy is going to immediately spend money on your model. How do you get him to spend money? This is how. You create interest in your model by posting viral content, and you create the following of your model through having brand development across every single platform. You're on TikTok, you're on Facebook, you're on Twitter, you're on Threads, you're on Instagram. No matter where that guy goes, he will find your model posting high quality content that he can follow. And no matter what social media he logs into on any given day, you will post a video that he will see, right? Eventually, he's going to convert over, right? That's the whole thing with marketing. You're not necessarily going to make your sale on that first shot, right? And so a lot of people are like, oh, Steven, I have 2,000 followers. How am I not making money? I should be rich by now. It's like, dude, a lot of those guys just fucking started following with you 4 days ago. You know what I mean? They're following thousands of other people, right? You have no other presence on any other social media. You got one social media page. So if they go and Google you, they don't find jack, right? They just have that. And they just started following your brand, right? Move to Twitter, have a Twitter. Move to Facebook, have a Facebook. Move to TikTok, right? Have established pages on all these platforms that the guy can easily search up. And this is where having a brand, okay? When I say brand, what does that mean? A brand means the guy can easily identify your model on all platforms, right? Willow the Goth is a brand. Okay. That's a brand. She's a brand. Anywhere you go on social media, if you go search up Willow the Goth, you will find Willow stuff. You will find her content. You will find her pages, her brand, her landing pages, and all of it will go back to FanPlace. And guys know it. Okay. And that's why she's so successful, right? Another example, Violet Hex. This is the brand, right? Guys know her. She's on Twitter. She's on TikTok. She's everywhere, and they know who she is, right? Are they immediately subscribing when they go to her Instagram? Maybe, but they're following her across all platforms, and that's where the money comes from, all right? You have to be consistent with this. If you just started, you can't expect all of these guys to magically like this go and subscribe to your page. They have no fucking idea who your model is, right? And that's why conversions go up over time, right? It's like when you're just starting, you're trying to build traction across all the socials and get guys engaging. You can't be worried about the money, right? And it's easy for me to say from my position, I know you guys are here to make money, but the money comes to those who build out their brands over time, right? The Violet Hex guy has made a lot of the money in the last few weeks. Why? Because he spent the first 6 weeks building the living fuck out of his brand, and now he's cashing in on it. That's how it works. Okay. So when I talk about this is what I mean, right? All of these social medias have a purpose. They all work together, right? Having the brand has a purpose. It all goes together, right? And when people say, hey, Steven, they say, Steven, why am I not converting? Right? The answer is because your brand is fucked up, right? Your brand is your funnel, right? And you hear these terms thrown around all the time. Your funnel, it's not converting, and people use all these fancy terms to try to confuse you. I'm going to make it super simple for you, right? It needs to be believable across all the social medias and consistent, and the guy will believe that your model is a real person. Okay. When he finds inconsistencies in certain places, the guys, they go and they look, right? And that's where you lose the subscribers, right? The subscriber isn't necessarily going to come from that one magic Instagram video that you posted, right? It's going to come from having a cohesive brand that the guy can go and find. He sees the video, he searches up the model. Oh shit, she's real. She's got stuff all over the place. I got to check her out. Boom, I subscribe, right? That's what the funnel is, right? That's what converting actually looks like. Okay. The conversions come from the high interest guys who are following along your model, right? A lot of you don't have this. And I'm not saying that it's something that's going to come magically overnight. This is hard, right? And that's why a lot of people, by the way, are having better success with their second and their third models, because their first model, they made a little bit of money, but what they really did is they learned the skills necessary to actually run a creator for real. And then what did they do? They ran a second model and they did amazing with it, right? Because they knew how to brand it properly. They knew how to build all the socials. They knew the content that worked right away. And boom, they hit the ground running and made a lot. By the way, spoiler, this guy, that's not his first model, right? His first model, he actually didn't do that well with, but he learned what he needed to do. He took a second one and he killed it, right? He's going to make a shit ton of money this month. Good for him. I'm so happy, And so that's how it worked. The person that runs the Will of the Goth brand has been doing this for 2 years, right? It wasn't smooth sailing from day one, but eventually what happened? They got better and better and better. And now they're a fucking machine. They know the second they get a model exactly what they need to do and how to build it. Okay. And that's what I'm trying to teach you guys along the way. I hope this stuff is resonating because this is like crazy sauce that I'm spilling here. Like, it's like, this is literally how you actually make money. You see all these people claiming they're doing all this. They don't know jack. This is how you actually make money. Okay. So I hope this makes some sense. One final thing I want to get into before we go into the question side of the course, or sorry, the call, FanPlace. Yes, they are universal, Nkosi. You're exactly right. FanPlace. This is something that I'm noticing, and I'm going to start adding education for it. It's on my list of things to do. FanPlace is a social media. Okay. Repeat that with me. FanPlace is a social media. FanPlace is a social media. Get that in your brain. Okay. Everybody is super concerned about posting and managing all their social medias, which they should be because it's super important. But people neglect FanPlace. Okay. FanPlace is a social media. What I'm noticing is people are neglecting their FanPlace accounts, right? What does that look like, right? No pin posts. We're making a fucking shit ton of money on pin posts. I made the video breaking down the $1 million month we had and exactly how much money is coming from pin posts, and people still don't have them on their page. In the education, in the first 2-week series, I go over exactly how to make money with pin posts from the Will of the Goth account, which you guys all saw has done $350,000 in revenue this year. That's a lot of money. It's going to do well over $30,000 per month this year. Close to 40, probably 35 to 40,000 per month. That's an amazing business. Just that one account. Okay. I literally showed you the pin post strategy that we're using. It's the exact same one. We're still using it because it works and people don't have it, right? So there's no pin post. Number two, no replying to comments left by subscribers on their accounts, right? On all the social medias, I talk about how important engagement is. It's really important because it's not just about telling the Instagram or the Facebook or whatever that you're actually active on your page. It's about building the connection with your audience. These are guys that are already converted. They've proven to be customers of yours who are deeply connected to your models and their brands, and you're ignoring them. It's completely fucking insane. You can't ignore them. Number three, not posting enough high quality and engaging content on the fan place feed. I just spent a ton of time ranting about all kinds of stuff related to social media. Okay. At the end of the day, that's all good and dandy. I'm talking about being consistent with your content and posting high quality content on your social media pages. FanPlace is the exact same thing. Okay. When you have subscribers on your page, now listen, if you don't have like a ton of subs at the beginning, it's not as impactful, but as you grow, it makes a massive difference. These guys are logging into FanPlace and they're looking through their FanPlace feed the exact same way that they're doing it on Instagram or on Facebook or on TikTok or any of those platforms. All right. They're doing this and they're not seeing your model. Most of these guys, right? Most of these guys on FanPlace are subscribed to other creators, meaning that they're not just coming on FanPlace and immediately seeing your girl, they're seeing tons of others, right? If you're not posting every day, when the guy logs in, he's not going to see your model. Do you really think he's going to reply to your message? Or do you think he's going to go buy your pin post? You know, or do you think he's going to go buy your mass message that you sent him? Or is he going to renew? Of course not, right? We see huge accounts not posting for weeks at a time. So sure, you're applying to the DMs, but the guys are not getting value every day, right? They want to see the value every single day. I have that data, but it's not for you, Prosperix. They want to see that value every single day. And it's like, you're not providing for it. You're not providing to the guy and you expect him to renew. You expect him to spend money on your account. He's not getting anything, right? The same thing is true. Not enough posts plus videos on your FanPlace. Now, a lot of you have gotten better at this since I made the education in the first 2 weeks at making your account with like 100 plus posts, but still many of you are not doing this. The volume of posts, it's part of the conversions. Okay. This is part of having a cohesive brand. All right. And so that's basically part of the things that I'm seeing on FanPlace. There's a couple other smaller things which we can go into afterwards, but I think that generally speaking, like this is like a really big difference maker. And we're seeing accounts like, you know, there's an account recently, like it's doing like 100,000 a month or something. And the person wasn't posting on it. And I was like, dude, I'm like, you probably burned $10,000 this month in mass message sales, in renewals, in pin post purchases, you know, in people buying stuff in the DMs because you're not posting and the guys are forgetting about your model, you know? But if you're actually reading the chats and like I did a ton of chatting, so I know exactly what those streets are about. If like basically oftentimes you'll see a guy just kind of reappear, you know, you make a nice post and the guy just comes back and he's super hot to have a conversation. Why? He sees your model again. He's like, oh shit, I remember I liked this girl a lot. I liked Violet. I liked Willow. Damn, that's a really good piece of content, you know? And there's no restrictions on FanPlay. So you can post way higher quality content, more sexual content, ass stuff, cleavage stuff, and you can get the guys revved up for them to actually move to the DMs and start monetizing, right? And it's good for renewals as well, which as you've seen is actually a really big part of the page. So I don't think there's enough of that. You should go evaluate your page and you should probably go have a look and say, hey, when was the last time I actually fucking posted? We have stuff coming on the marketplace, which is part of our new auditing infrastructure that we're about to roll out, which should help this significantly. So hopefully this stuff helps you guys. Like I'm going to upload this to YouTube because I think it's a good video. But I don't know what else to say. Like these are the things that I know to be 100% factual in terms of what legitimately makes money. And, you know, I'll stop here because I'm kind of going circular at this point. We'll go into the questions.
Do we need to write or just we can with voice?
No, write, please. Let me just open the type form. I'm gonna have a cigarette and then we'll start.
Hello, everyone.
All right, I got a few questions from the Q&A document, the type form. So in the future, if you can't make the call, you can use that now, and I'll have a look at them. What are alternatives to paying for a USA proxy if you're in a third world country, and will this stunt growth of my Instagram account? I think that you can run things without a proxy, but at the end of the day, it could help to have a US or a UK proxy. I don't have a good answer for what the alternatives are if you're in a third world country. One answer could be running things like on a Google Pixel, where you set the region to US, and you have to use graphene for that. You could just search up graphene OS Google Pixel, and you'll be able to get like a bunch of information about how to set that up correctly. So that's an opportunity. That's an option for you. But at the end of the day, I don't have a super great answer for you. I don't think that it's necessary because we have a lot of people running in third world countries and they're not using proxies. So I just threw that information out there on one of my calls because I do think it could be better. Sarah Loon, I know the account. Uh, some things we've noticed is like pages have grown to be like much bigger in size on IG, that you kind of get reduction in the quality of your traffic. So I would say the first thing I would be like, well, is where's the traffic coming from? Because it might not be premium country. And if it's not premium country, then you could consider maybe like starting a new page. I know that's not the best advice, but you already kind of have traffic. So what you can do is you can add the new page in the landing page. So you ensure the traffic coming to the new page is 100% premium. You just geo block the landing page, start a secondary page for her, and that could potentially do a lot better. In terms of TikTok, we're not getting a ton of conversions on TikTok directly to the landing page either, because they have all kinds of problems. What I would say with TikTok is it's a really good solution to get visibility for your model. And I just went on a huge rant about how important visibility is. And so, I wouldn't underestimate that. Guys seeing your model on TikTok, even if they're not clicking on the link, are still going and finding more information about your model, and they're subscribing. By the way, that's part of the reason FanPlace Finder exists. I have more solutions coming out, in that domain soon. And FanPlace Finder has been a massive success. There's a lot of money being generated for a lot of people on there. So if you haven't set that up, go watch in the education and set it all up. What's our current strategy on Facebook? 1K story views is fine. For stories, by the way, on Facebook, on Instagram, I recommend not posting reels to your stories, not posting multiple stories ever. One story, you should upload a photo, not share a photo, upload a photo to the story, a safe photo, nothing sexual, and have a link with like a catchy call to action, right? Exclusive, whatever, like something like that. That's not, overly sexual. You don't want anything too sexual in the call to action in the story. Let it sit for the full 24 hours. Wait for it to completely clear, meaning the story is completely down, upload a new one. And ideally, in an optimal world, every 24 hours, you will have a story live. That's what an optimal world will look like. Okay. So that's how stories are run on Facebook. For Facebook, we do swipe up stories. I'll show you guys examples of how that works. I've made education about this before, but for Instagram, it's the same thing, except you can't do swipe up stories. You just have to link click. For Facebook, what's our strategy? How many posts, reels? For Facebook, you should be posting both photos and videos. Doing both actually makes a big difference. Again, I went over in terms, on the document that we just did, how you need to be extremely SFW on Facebook in terms of how much. I think that you can kind of do sky's the limit on Facebook, but I would say 3 photo posts, 3 reels posts is a good place to be at. Maybe in the first week, you want to kind of slowly build it up, but getting to that point is a good place to be at. And then in terms of how many accounts, I would say watch the Facebook education. I need to make some updated education, but Facebook is slightly different than other platforms in terms of account creation. And we've been going through the ringer the last month trying to figure it out. And I think I finally have, but it's not exactly the easiest thing to set up. What I would say is, on Facebook, you have a profile, and under that profile, you have pages. Okay. The pages is where you're posting everything, right? Pages are the exact same as like an Instagram account, right? Your profile is not, right? Your profile is different. Think of your profile like a phone, right? And so under your profile, you could have 2 or 3 pages, but every additional page you have increases your chance of getting banned. What do I mean by that? Well, on an Instagram account, if you have a phone that has 3 Instagrams and one of the Instagrams gets banned, the others will get banned with it. You get chain banned. Facebook works the exact same way in that manner, right? So you can have as many accounts as you want, but the issue is you can't have them connected, right? So that means you have to have multiple different profiles. So what we figured out to do is how to set up many different profiles across things like proxies. It's a huge fucking pain in the ass. I would say in terms of Facebook, focus on one at the start. And if you really figure out how to do one, I'll have updated education for people who are, large earners that want to actually make a lot of money on Facebook with us. And in terms of like how to set all that up. Have I ever used steroids? If yes, did it affect your mindset and your work ethic? How many pull-ups can I hit max right now? I don't know how many pull-ups I can hit max right now. I have used steroids. Don't recommend steroids to anybody. But, if people really want to know, I would say if you're a male, like if you're a guy, this probably doesn't apply if you're a girl, but if you're a guy, then you should for sure get your blood work done if you can afford it, because it tells you a lot about your hormone state and stuff. And some dudes just have like low test. And if they have low test, then potentially doing things like TRT could make a big difference. Doing additional steroids is probably not the best idea. And if you're going to do it, then get a high level coach that knows what he's doing and is able to watch your blood work properly. And the main thing, though, and again, I'm not an expert in the gym. You can see by how chubby my face is that I'm not exactly in the best shape right now. But I have done times where I have been in extremely good shape, or at least decent shape. And what I would say is, my opinion is, the first thing that you should do is figure out how to eat properly and figure out how to train properly and also sleep properly. The three of those things are more important than steroids. After that, if you actually figure out how to do it properly, then you can get a coach, and then you can add in things like, testosterone, and then you could potentially try other things if you really want to go all the way. But one thing I would say is, all that stuff is kind of for life. Like, it's really hard to get off once you start. So I would be very careful with your decisions, especially if you're a younger guy. Hopefully that's good advice. Younger version of me would have just said, fucking grip it and rip it. It's the best thing ever, but I don't recommend that now. Anyways, what do you think will happen in the future if social media platforms change the way they operate? How will they deal with content? Will things become stricter? Listen, it's like, this is like, remember when Trump was interviewing the guy in the White House, and he's like, what if anything? What if a bomb drops on your head right now? Then what? It's kind of like that. It's like, social media has been working the same way for a really long time, and I don't really think that it's going to change in any significant manner. I think that the platforms are highly incentivized to have people post AI content because, really, like, their KPIs is people posting high quality, engaging content for other users to consume. And the more users that are posting equals the more users that are consuming, which equals the more money they can make from ad revenue. Right. And so all the people that are saying AI is going to get banned, in my opinion, are just fucking morons, because they don't understand how social medias work or how they make money. Right. They want more content. Look at Twitter, right? Like, Grok is literally integrated directly into Twitter. Why would they ban AI? It doesn't make any sense. Tons of posts on Twitter are made by AI. Elon loves it. He's fucking printing from it. It doesn't make any sense, right? So will they potentially make you label the content whatever? I mean, maybe that'll happen. Technically speaking, you're supposed to do it right now, but I don't know if that's really going to change anything with respect to our business. And I believe that there will be ways around it, knock on wood, but I don't like to focus on the negatives. I just like to focus on what's in front of me right now. And, again, Trump idea, like, what if anything, what if a bomb drops on your head? It's like, I can't worry about that stuff. I can only worry about what's making me money right now and what I think will continue to make me money for a long time. Looking for input on IG and TikTok. Started a month ago. Should I do better? Give me a second. Let me open these up and I'll share my screen and we can start doing some of these. And I'll get to the notes from the call, the questions from the call in a second. It says the page is banned on Instagram. TikTok has like 400 followers. Honestly, I think you're doing a decent job. It looks a little AI to me. Like, I'm not 100% sure if this is even our model. Like, maybe it is, but you're just using like something else to kind of enhance the AI. I honestly don't even know if this is our model, to be honest. But I would just say that, maybe don't do too much enhancement with AI. Like, I don't really think this is even our model, to be honest with you. So I'm just gonna skip that. I don't know what the guy's up to. Anyways, I would just say continue with what you're doing, but I don't even think that's our model, to be honest with you. Maybe I'm wrong. Instagram is banned. Everything got totally nuked on Instagram and Facebook. Can't open new accounts. You got to just let it sit for a couple of days, and I would try going to a different IP to make it. Maybe go to a coffee shop or something. If you have a phone, you got to factory reset the phone or find a new phone, because you could be phone banned as well. That's one of the good things about Google Pixel with graphene, is because the way that graphene works is like, it allows you to set up what's referred to as users in the phone. When I say user, you could just refer to that as another phone. And within one device, you could have 20 users, which essentially means 20 phones. Each of those phones has a unique like Mac and all this other, technical lingo, but basically it's a unique phone in terms of social media. And so, I think that it helps you kind of not get banned when scaling out production of a lot of accounts. So, creation of social media accounts is actually one of the biggest problems. And for example, we were going through one of these problems recently on Facebook. And so I would say, either reset your device, get a new device, and try new IP addresses. You're probably just trying from the same home Wi-Fi. Using Wi-Fi is perfectly fine, but it might be an issue right now for creation of your accounts. I would also say that when making the Instagram accounts, don't name it like your model's branding name. Like, don't do it like Goth Girl Willow, for example. Like, just make it like a normal human name would sign up, and then let it sit for a few days, and then you can change the name afterwards. Doesn't change anything. Uh, oops. Oh, wow. This is a very good TikTok. Good for you. Seems like you're copying the Nami Luna guy. You're using like more sexualized content, which appears to not getting banned right now. So I'm happy to see it's working for you. I hope it continues. I would say just prepare for it potentially getting banned in the future. If it does, then you could probably get another one going fast. And other than that, I think that you've done everything extremely well in terms of the content. And I wish you the best of luck in terms of not getting flagged. And if you do get flagged, then I would say you could just kind of make the content maybe a little bit safer, and then continue doing exactly as you're doing right now, and it should just blow up again. So good work. I know I got to share my screen. I'm going to share it right now. All right, that's the end of the questions from the sheet. Goth Princess Lola. It's a nice model. Looks good to me. Just a little new in the process here, but I think that you're doing really well, and I think that you should go to this account and see what they're doing, because for pretty clear reasons, it's like it's pretty similar. So whatever they're doing is probably something you should be doing. So I would just go copy. I would go copy them. Good work. It's still super new in this account. I don't have too much feedback, but it seems like everything you're doing is fine for starting the account. I just very new, so I don't have too much feedback. But I would say just keep going, and it'll probably end up growing over time, and I can give more feedback in another week or two. But maybe you want to post a little bit more now that the account is a little bit aged. Yeah, Pasquale. I mean, listen, accounts get banned. It's part of social media. I see that your account is disabled, and what did it get? And I can't open it right now. Yeah, it's just a normal community standards ban. You can apply, you can appeal, but it is what it is. Like, just make a new account and start posting again. Don't tag your posts as AI. Do I need to change the phone number I use for this account? Yes. Do I need to change my phone? Probably not, but maybe. How should I verify my identity next time with the face of a woman? There's just nothing you could do. Like, you just got unlucky and got banned. It's part of the game. Yeah, I just wouldn't post the comments and add people. Like, I would just scroll Instagram and just start posting reels yourself. I wouldn't worry about engaging with others. Yes, you should redo everything with a new phone or with the same phone, and just basically start again. Bella's feedback is pretty good. Yeah, I wouldn't do external engagement like that. It's a bad idea. Should I start Facebook if I won't boost? I would start TikTok and Facebook, yeah. And then specifically TikTok would be the first thing I would start. Watch the Brokey course, because the Brokey course explains like how to make money if you have no money. Yeah, I agree with Flick's advice about stop spreading yourself so thin. It's part of the game. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people, like, they have shiny object syndrome, and then you're in these like Telegram communities, and someone's posting something, you're like, no way, bro, and you got to message the guy. I don't know, dude. It's like I'm a fan of the Telegram community and people chatting it and getting feedback and all these things. But at the end of the day, I think that there's also maybe some downside too. It's like you get kind of distracted by things that don't really matter all the time, and you're not focusing on your own work. So, anyways, I think it's good advice. I do think it's possible to grow your socials by only using pictures, but I think that you might be limited in that. And then I would recommend doing things like TikTok and then sending to Instagram and posting photos consistently on Instagram. Maybe not Facebook. You could do Twitter. You could do Threads. So it is totally possible, actually, in my opinion. You're just limited. It's like you really want to be posting the videos, I think, for the most part. Of course, you can go very viral on TikTok just posting photos right now, especially the carousels. But, at the end of the day, it's like, I think it's kind of difficult. Like I know the offer is completely free, and I do believe that people can start for free or very little money. But in the history of the world, in anything that's requiring like making money, like you kind of need some startup capital to make money, right? It's not like we're Amazon FBA saying, "Hey, you need $50,000 a month to buy fucking Amazon supplies in a warehouse." It's like a couple $100 is pretty reasonable, and I just don't have a good answer to people that aren't in the position to spend that, except for watch the Brokey course and do the best you can, and you can't expect to make a bajillion dollars without putting in significant amount of time at that point, right? For me, I have liquidity now and I have cash flow. And so what I'm really good at is taking my liquidity and taking my cash flow and reinvesting into things that make me more money, right? I don't necessarily need to do the work myself. My money is doing the work for me. And that's how rich people get richer, right? They buy things, they borrow against it, they use their money to make them more money, they invest, whatever it is, right? When you don't have money, you must have time, right? Because if you're spending your time doing something, it's hopefully to make money, right? And if you don't have money, then you probably have time. You got to spend the time, and that's a process, right? It's not going to be easy. That's a good advice to use Grok actually, and even if it's a little low quality, maybe you could get away with it. To be honest, agree with Eric. Engagement is valuable in comments or DMs. Yeah, I mean, I made a video talking about free pick and how to make all kinds of unique outfits and stuff like that. There's actually like some more content doing really well for that right now. And let me see if I can find some examples. This is a really good branded page. Like here's an example of one. They're holding the outfit. You just have to prompt to say, hey, I want you to hold the outfit out and twirl it around. And then, I mean, this is an example of them copying the reel where the girl holds the fingers like that. Remember, I've seen a lot of people doing that. So what I think they did is they actually I think this is a real girl, if I had to guess. And I think that they basically just stole the beginning of a reel from a girl and then they just made it into a video for their model. When I say high quality content, these are the kind of things that I mean. I think a lot of you are going to get, taken to school, right? This is the reel where it kind of transitions back and forth. It's like, oh, you're not in your uniform. And then you go into the uniform. Here's another one of them holding a Starbucks outfit. This model makes a lot of money and they're active on all their socials. And so when I say high quality content based on proven virals, like this is an example. So, I mean, you have the page, it's literally right here. Just go to the page and see what they're doing and copy it. It's like, I don't know what else to say. Like you all have an amazing model. You could literally just all copy this super easy. Right. So it's just, I don't see any reason why we can't have 100,000 Instagram pages just doing this. I mean, we can, it's just about finding people that are actually going to be consistent every day. And it's not the easiest thing. And what we found is people, once they get consistent and they start figuring it out, they figure it out fast and they start making a lot of money. And then that's when we start seeing people have 4, 5, 6 creators. They start doing 50, 75, $100,000 per month. There's a lot of people doing that, right? It's like, I've had some people start the offer and they're like, they end up not making money and then they quit and they're like, oh, nobody makes money. It's like, dude, I mean, I'm doing pretty well for myself. I see a lot of people doing pretty well for themselves. It's like, it's real. It's hitting my account. So it must be fucking real. Right. So it's just, it's kind of pathetic how they act, in my opinion, number one. But number two, it's just a lack of effort and maybe just a lack of listening, to be honest. Like, I think that I've been, doing business for several years now. I think the people that do the best are the least stubborn and the best listeners, And when I was younger, Steven backstory time, but like when I was younger, I was such a bad listener, dude. I was so stubborn. I always thought I was smarter than everybody else. And I just, it really fucked me up because I didn't want to listen to people that were obviously doing something right and making a lot of money. And as I got older, I realized I'm like, these people are doing really well. Like I should just listen to them because their experiences, they matter. I've been doing this for many years. My experiences matter. You should just listen to me. It's based off things that I've experienced. I lived this already, right? And I think one of the hardest things for people is, number one, letting their ego go down and actually listen to others. That's number one. Number two, figuring out who the right person to listen is. Because I've said this many times in calls, but like things like materialism and other nonsensical things they're heavily influenced on people that don't have a lot of money, when it doesn't really matter, right? And you don't know what you don't know, right? And so I'm telling you all these things, but you have no fucking clue what's left from right, basically, when it comes to this stuff. And so what do? Like, you see some goofball talking about making all this money, and you go listen to him, and then he just ends up screwing you over, wasting 3 months of your time, right? And then you believe the offer is not real. I've seen that happen many times, right? So at the end of the day, I believe that this is the correct thing to do. We have a lot of empirical evidence of people making a fucking shit ton of money doing exactly this, rinse repeating the strategies over and over again. All you have to do is just trust that this is the right thing to do and to copy it. That's all you got to do. And by the way, for Chetan, you should go watch the education and go watch the recent YouTube video that I made on TikTok that talks about free pick. If you want to learn how to do this stuff, it'll help a lot. Yeah, there are ways to get around the verify blue checkmark thing. Manos, there's ways to get around that stuff. I don't think that it makes that much of a difference or any difference. I mean, we've never had it, and we've made just piles of money, So all of our biggest accounts don't have it, and I just don't think it makes any difference, So I'm just not going to worry about it. And you could pay for it, and you could probably finagle it, but I'm just not going to set myself up for like some kind of future risk, right? Like, maybe you can pay for it in the short term, but what if they change how it works, and now you have to re-verify, and now you lose your account? It's like, it's never changed anything for any person in our business that's making a lot of money. So I don't think it matters. I do have data about how many accounts the average fan is sub to, but I'm not going to give away that information because it doesn't change anything for any of you guys. What I will say is, when you build out a network on social media, it becomes really valuable to getting one subscriber to sub to all of your models. I'll show you an example. I've showed this page many times, but I don't think people fully understand like the impact of the page, right? Like, why do we run the Goth Angels Club, right? Is it to go more viral? Is it to, to spread traffic? It's kind of all of those things. But at the end of the day, like, if a guy finds Lilith or Zori, or Willow or Arya, Victoria, any of our models through this, what ends up happening, right? Well, he follows the Goth Angels Club. We have 161,000 followers. We have a couple others. Like, there's probably like 250,000 now on the Goth Angels Club. And what happens is, they're following the brand and they're constantly seeing new models. And oftentimes the guys eventually are going to choose to sub to one of our models. Now, maybe it'll be one of our big ones, being Willow or Victoria. These are, very large. Oh, she's going viral right now. Fucking great. I haven't checked in this page for a while. But I don't even know what's going on with these accounts. Like, other people are running them now. But, maybe they'll choose one of our biggest models, right? Maybe they'll choose Arya, right? Like a big model. But if they're already on FanPlace and they already have an account, they're still following our brand, right? And what ends up happening is, the guy sees another model he's interested in. He's like, oh shit, I like that girl. Oh, no way, she's on FanPlace. He just goes and hops over and subscribes, right? A lot of you guys are getting subscribers from dudes that are already on FanPlace. So maybe you think that like we're not tracking things properly, but we are. It's just guys are already on FanPlace, so we're blessing you with subs. So what ends up happening with things like the Goth Angels Club is, when we find high value subscribers, they come into Willow, Victoria, maybe some of our bigger accounts. They just end up making their way to all of our models, and next thing you know, the guy sub to 10 different accounts, right? You could do this yourself if you have enough models, right? So I have education coming for this. This is like significantly higher level education. It's only for people with multiple creators, but there is value to this, and we've replicated the system many times, and we've built, hundreds of thousands, soon will be millions of followers doing this, and it's a proven system. So I will share it with you guys. I think so. I mean, I think it's a must. I think that it helps a lot, and I think that optimized landing pages have it, is what I would say. It's like, at the end of the day, like, when you send someone to your Cupid bot, the purpose of sending someone to CupidBot is to give yourself higher expected value across the entirety of your landing page. That's also why I think it's good to have Twitter or Facebook or TikTok in your landing page, right? It's not necessarily because him going to TikTok is going to lead to a higher chance of subscribing immediately. It's going to lead to a higher expected value of your landing page over the long run. Having CupidBot on it in my opinion, increases that. So I do think it's really good. I also think it's really good for newer pages because, as we discussed in the live call notes, one of the things we discuss is that when people are super new, they expect that, like, having 1 or 2 thousand followers is immediately going to make them all this money. But it's like the guys are not familiar with your brand. And so if you move them directly to fan place, it's highly improbable that they're going to subscribe. You're going to have a low conversion rate. But if you move the guys early on over to things like Cupidbot, it's more likely that they're going to convert because you're going to warm up the audience better. And so, again, I explain all of this in detail in the education. Go watch it. It's worth watching. It was extremely specific with this Tomas. I mean, I don't know how more specific I can possibly be. Like, it literally says right here. So I would rewatch the video. I was extremely explicit about that. I don't know who Hunter is, and I don't know what Tunnel Bear is, but I wish both of them. Actually, I do know who Hunter is. I wish him the best. I don't know what his deal is, and I don't know what a Tunnel Bear is. So, anyways, I wish him the best. Page looks good. Gotta keep grinding. I like how you're not afraid to just, like, you make a few generations that are good. Like, you just dump the content out there. I think that's a good thing, not a bad thing. Like, I feel like people don't use their content enough. It's like you should just be dumping it out there, and you need to just post more. But I think you're doing a good job, and I would bet eventually you go viral. But I just think that there's like a bit of a difference between like the quality of the content, on an account like the Goth Asian Raven account, and the quality of the content that kind of we're seeing on here. Like, this is just, this page just has really good content. Um, this is good. Yeah, I just think the Goth Asian Raven account is just like, it's just higher quality content across the board, and probably that's why I'd say it's performing a little bit better. So I would say you're doing a good job, and I would continue doing what you're doing. But I would also say maybe go have a look at what they're doing, and ask yourself, could you improve the content that you're posting every day, on your page? And I think that you could. By the way, this is also a really good strategy. I've seen a bunch of these go viral recently, and they convert really well. I'd give it a try. Went through hell moving homes, living in a hotel. I went through that when I was moving homes recently. Um, I just gave you the feedback that you need. I would watch the Brokey course, Tomas. Oh, wow, this is a really good model. Yeah, I mean, I think that number one, like, you really have like this great petite look, and so, like, I would go find other petite girls, and see what they're doing. I'll find you a girl that I think could be a good inspiration for you. It's not this girl. It's not Summer. It's someone else. What's her name? I'm trying to find the model. Here we go. Uh, so I mean, I would say that Danny. I mean, what do you guys think? Seems pretty similar to me. And so she's petite, and she's just a regular blonde girl that lives in Miami or wherever the fuck, and she's doing really well. And I don't think the excuse is that she's a real girl and that's why she's doing better. I think that she's just, Danny's really good at the content that she posts, generally speaking. Although it doesn't seem to, she has a lot of content on her page right now for whatever reason. Maybe this isn't her main page. Oh, here we go. I don't know what she's doing here. She's got all kinds of wild content. Anyways, I would say that you got to go find a girl that's similar in niche to, who you are, who your model is, and see what they're doing and try to copy that. I mean, you very clearly have this like great petite girl that has all kinds of possibilities in terms of content that you can make. And, I think that it's a bit limited belief to say that there isn't like some specific niche that Zara can be. I think that your username could be improved, and you can kind of add in a little bit into like what the brand that you're trying to be is. And then, all the content can kind of be around that. And you can go tell Instagram, hey, I'm a petite blonde girl. This is what I do. You can kind of play into like the younger girl type of vibe. There's all kinds of content content, surrounding that does really well. And so I think that you're trying and you're thinking in the right direction, but I think that maybe you're just kind of overthinking it a little bit. Like you have an amazing model and she can do so well and post such amazingly high quality content that can go viral, but you've also like barely done anything. Oh, you actually post a decent amount of content. I think you got to start boosting the content. I think you got to get her on TikTok because I think a girl like this could blow up like crazy amounts on TikTok and start dumping the traffic back over to the Instagram. I think Facebook and Twitter could also do extremely well for you and just start distributing her content everywhere and build the brand up in that way. And Zara Blake is cool, right? Like you're kind of branding her like she's like some girl with a big following. She was popular in high school and now she's in university and she's cool and blah blah blah. But at the end of the day, it's like it's kind of hard for people to understand like who this is and associate with her. And so you could do petite Zara Blake, for example, or something along those lines, and add in a little bit that to the brand. I think that could work. And then be creative. I mean, like with the content, you can kind of do anything you want, right? Like you can add any type of content and you could test things out a little bit and see what kind of sticks and what goes viral. And if something goes viral, you can run with it. Maybe she could be a golf girl, maybe she could be a cheer girl, like a cheerleader, for example. I don't know, right? Like there's all kinds of things that you can make the model and you can do. And there's actually a lot of examples. I mean, there's a girl, I can't remember what her name is, but she was like a petite blonde girl like this. And her whole brand was kind of being in cheerleader outfits and like she did pretty well for herself, right? So there's just a lot of things that you could do and be creative with for relatively cheap and extremely like accessible in terms of like the scale that you could do with it for girls like this. And I just don't really see people executing on that. And so maybe it's my fault for not teaching better. I'm doing the best I can, to be honest. So that's my feedback. I think you're thinking about the right thing. And I think the next stage is kind of the details that I just laid out for you. But you could see like my initial reaction is not lay out a bunch of stuff. It's like, let's go find a model that's doing really well and let's figure out what she's doing and let's apply it to her brand. It's like, I'm not this like super creative guy. I'm not that kind of person. I'm just a systematic person. I'm a data driven guy. I know what works, right? So I'm just going to keep doing the same thing over and over. There's nothing wrong with that, by the way. Like, I think maybe people would be like, oh, that's, you don't have all the skill sets you could possibly have and blah, blah, blah. It's like, I'm good at what I do, right? It's like, clearly it's a high value skill set, right? I might as well just keep doing it. Oh, wow. This guy's killing it. What is going on here? Mr. Adrian. Actually, it's not. It's not. Did you buy followers? The views are kind of not in line with the followers. I kind of wonder if you bought followers here or you switched the account from an old account. Either way, let's have a look at the backups. One of these was supposed to be NatalieXBrooks.tv. Here we go. So some opinions on this. Number one, if you buy followers, it'll fuck up your page. Don't do it. Number two, if you have an existing page that you're going to switch over to your model, I also probably wouldn't recommend doing that. I also wouldn't recommend buying a page to switch over to your model. Instead, I would just use the money to boost on Instagram. We've tried to do this and we have a lot of like dead accounts now. And it's really hard to kind of get them going again, and get them viral. Like generally speaking, like when accounts are smaller, it's easier for them to grow and go viral, especially with boosts. But then the bigger your account gets, the worse the quality of the audience gets. It's kind of hard to prevent that. And so you kind of, maybe you'll have 50 or 60% premium, but then as time goes on, like the premium percentage will go down, which is why a lot of people end up starting like secondary accounts and moving the premium audience over and kind of restarting the process because they know they can just go viral over and over. We're starting to do that with some of our bigger models because the pages are getting crazy amounts of views, but it's just not premium audience anymore because of how the socials are working. That's a way down the line problem. But in your situation, I think that your brand is really good. I just think that, this page, maybe you like bought audience or something on it. So you could keep trying with it. It looks like the content you're doing is is really high quality. Although I don't know what this is. I mean, like you can't really have a brand called Natalie Blue Hair and then post this. That doesn't really make any sense. Same with this. Like this just kind of looks like a lot more AI, and I'm not really a big fan because the way the model is at the beginning is like super high quality, and then you're kind of going and ruining her brand by changing it up in this manner. And so I'm not really sure I'm the biggest fan of that. But I can see like what you're trying to do, and I respect it. But I would probably focus the most on this page because this page seems to be like the newer branded page. And it seems you're doing a good job. Like you're putting in a lot of effort. So good job. I would just like, again, like I would go back to the, I'm going to keep referencing the Goth Asian Raven page because I think it's just a really good page. I think another thing that you can take away from this page is that like her look is extremely consistent across all this stuff, right? Like, sure, they have some content where they're kind of, this is like her pretending to, make this like trending video, which by the way, they posted here, it got 198,000 views, and they posted it again and already has 48,000 views. They could probably post that same video 100 times. It'll keep working. But generally speaking, her look, her body type, etc., is extremely consistent, and it's not really altered from what we've given you from fan plays. Whereas comparison to this, there's just a lot of content here that is like really inconsistent with different hair colors. I know it's not the easiest with these like multi-hair color girls, but still relatively inconsistent looks and styles. It's kind of all over the place. The brand, you have reels on the homepage and photos mixed in. Whereas comparison to the Raven page, if you go to the main, it's all just photos over here for the most part. It's extremely organized, it's clean in my opinion for the most part. The look is consistent throughout the page. Like these are important factors, right? If somebody's on Instagram and they're viewing the reel and they click on this and they're like, oh wow, who's this model? And then they click on the profile, what do they see, right? What do they see? For you, they see like just a jumbled up mess, basically. For Raven, they see a beautiful brand with amazing photos, high quality, consistency, a nice body, a nice look. Clearly, the way that she, wants to be presented on social media has been thought out and executed on. That's why her page is going up, and that's why your page isn't. It's really that simple, And so it's an easy fix. Clean up the page, the main page. Consider what image you actually want to display and make that her brand across the long run, right? Clean up all this content here. Make sure that you're only using content that's actually, in line with that brand, and then stay consistent. Like you're putting in good effort, and I appreciate that. I think you're quite close to someone that could be making good money, but like the little details and how this page is executed on, it's just not it's not being executed on over here. So that's what I would say about that. TikTok, I can't open it for some reason. Anyways, that's my opinion on your brand. I think that's pretty good advice. You should boost on Instagram or Facebook. This actually is good though. Everything you set up here is good. I would just have like her face shown here. Like again, like I don't know why it's like this weird like blue, like light blue turquoise, blonde, purple, then no face. It just doesn't make any sense. Like you need to figure out what she looks like and stick with that. We can compare this to the Raven brand here quickly. Give me a second. Oh, that's a Telegram. They use Cupidbot. Again, like you could see the difference, right? Like it's very clear, like this is just all over the place. And like, this is just, I don't know how much clearer I can be. I think that this is very clear. I don't have an answer for you, Mr. Sig. I don't know. I don't know. I think you're worried about things that don't matter. Emojis in the name, I don't think that makes any difference. No, I don't think it lowers the model's values. I think you're worried about like all these micro things that don't actually matter. Like the person running this account who I was out for dinner with last night, like they don't give a shit about any of that stuff. It's just like they're just only worried about posting high quality content every day. Like, look how simple their brand is. There's just like a name, let me ruin your life, and that's it. They got a nice landing page. It's like super simple, And so I think you're worried about like all these things that don't make any difference. I don't know, Yasuk. I don't have an answer for you. I don't think it makes any difference if he makes the account in US, then you start posting from Europe. I'm not sure, Bella, to be honest with you. I can't give financial advice like that because it's just so different for so many people, and I don't want to be on the hook for that. So I don't have financial advice for people in that regard. I don't know. Well, I've been doing the Google Pixel thing since the beginning of 2023, so almost 3 years now. So I don't know if people were doing it beforehand. 18 plus restricted IG is fine. A lot of our pages, it was like a new update on IG, which again is part of what I was speaking about in the beginning of the Q&A, which is that a lot of things are just kind of transitioning to being safer across the board for whatever reason. I already answered that, Chetan. Maximum two. I mean, we're only doing one because we use the Google Pixels because, if you can have 20 IGs across 20 different phones, it's much safer that way. Oh, you're doing very, very well. Good for you. You should, yeah. Give me a sec. So a note about landing pages, if you have a Facebook, you 100% should put your Facebook in here, like 100%. Um, so let's compare. You could probably add a location like they have, like theirs is like New York and stuff. On Facebook you can block in the settings, if you don't know how to do it, just Google it, but you can block in the settings non-premium countries, which is one of the reasons Facebook is so good, because you can never get non-premium reach. It's just only like America, Canada. Like you could just set that, so like this page is 25K, but it's like 100% 25K premium audience, so it's worth a lot. um you should be posting photos more. Oh, there's a good photo. I would be posting more photos. um Looks good to me, man. Good for you. You're gonna print. You got to add a swipe up story. So, oh, you see how it says see more? That's what I mean by swipe up. You got to add a GIF here that says swipe up. Let me see if Raven has one. You see how it says swipe up here? You see how it says swipe up here? Even theirs, it's too small. And this is too sexual for your story, by the way. Whoever's doing this, way too sexual. Like you're fucked, basically. Like this is way too sexual. Like needs to be covered. This is much better. And especially with this body type, like obviously it's a great photo. Like good for you. Like it's just she's a printer, but move it. Like it needs to be like a bigger swipe up. Like this GIF needs to be bigger and like posted here, and then you just add the swipe up effect. You can only do this directly on Facebook. You can use scheduling tools for Facebook or really any social media. It doesn't make any difference. The only thing that matters is the content. But you can't schedule the swipe up stories. You have to do it directly on the Facebook, which you can schedule ahead on Facebook, but not on an external tool. But anyways, this is a great Facebook, man. You're killing it. And some notes that I would add. So I gave you this looks good. I would add the IG just here anyways, like just as a secondary link, like they have it on theirs. You could see here, they have like the IG over here. It's not clickable, but it is on the phone. I would be posting more photos. Message Harry and say that you're Goth Princess Lola. He'll forward it to me. Say, Steven wants you to message. I'm going to get you access to like our special AI comment reply tool, which is going to help your Facebook blow up. Whatever you did here is really good. And if you could recreate it for more, you're going to make a lot of money, dude. So good for you. Basically, like this is just proof. Like Facebook's are killers. So everything you're doing is like exactly as you should be doing. And you just have to stay consistent because the brand is going to do really well. It's going to explode. Let me check the fan place just to see what's up. Let's check Twitter first. See, like even this like thing it's just crazy. Twitter's fine. You just got to stay consistent. Your brand is still pretty new. That's a good photo. Maybe a little too much, but should be fine. Dude, everything's perfect. Good for you, man. This is exactly what I think people should be copying. And like you're just kind of early on in the process, but that doesn't mean that you did anything wrong. It's like give this brand 90 days and see where it's going to be. It's going to be a crusher. So good for you. You're going to make a lot of money. I think I've seen this account before. Huh. I have seen this account before. I talked about this and I recommended to like post a bunch more of these videos. And it seems like you did that, which is good. Good for you. You listen. Very good. I think that you're doing very well with this account. I mean, I don't know if you're ready for if you have a second model or not. But I think that you could be a really excellent candidate for a second model. And I'll give the reason why. Um, this is great. Like the whole thing you're doing with your branding, like you've learned a lot clearly, but I think that you could benefit from one of the more unique creators where you could really brand her in like a very specific way, like a gother, for example. It's like someone asked with like the petite blonde girl, they're like, maybe I could benefit more from having a unique brand of creator, right? But it's like, you don't really know like what you're doing yet. Like you're still kind of figuring it out. But like this creator, sure, she could do really well and grow to like 50, 100K. But it's like if you applied those same skill sets to a secondary model, potentially could do even better. So I'm not saying stop what you're doing, but I'm saying, hey, keep doing what you're doing, but maybe take the skills you've learned and apply it to a specific brand, copy our existing success in some of those specific brands, and then, blow it up, right? I mean, the BBWs are really good. Just any of these like unique alt type of girls could be really good. And, obviously she's doing quite well. And I would continue everything you're doing and just try to continue to blow it up. I would maybe work on the content strategy like a little bit from here. Just maybe there's like some more unique content strategies you can do. Go check out the Goth Asian Raven, and maybe you could apply that over to this brand. Um, Besides that, I think that everything you're doing is fine. Oh, Tunnel Bear is a VPN. Okay, well, that's if you need a VPN, use check out Tunnel Bear. Nigeria was banned from the offer, unfortunately. Not because we have anything against people from there. It's just our fraud rates were too high, and so we just aren't able to take any more clients from that part of the world. I apologize. I'm literally showing you like tons of viral models right now. I don't know what you want from me. Like they're literally being shown on the screen right now. So it's like I don't have like magic creators that are like better than this. Like these are amazing, some of them. So it's just I don't know what to say. I don't know. You need to send me the links, Eddie, like Ariana, Lovejoy. I need the links. Like I don't know what this is, like what social this is from. No, don't buy socials. Or sorry, don't buy followers. Yeah, that's why it's not performing well, Adrian. I actually mentioned that. I thought that maybe you were converting the page, and turns out I was spot on. So I strongly recommend not doing that, and I would focus your attention on brand new accounts and boosting brand new accounts because converting pages it just ruins the account. Still very new. It's too sexual. You got to nuke all this stuff. It's all going to get banned 100%. Like I showed you an example of this account, just so much safer. It's just all this is getting banned. So you will be banned 100%, even if it starts going viral. Yeah, it's just yeah, they have weird ass rules on Facebook, man. Like they're just so flag heavy. It's the most ridiculous thing. Just call her Raven, just call her like, something Raven, whatever. Just it is what it is. I don't know what you're talking about. Custom OS detection. I don't know these things. Like people like I think they just get really hooked on to, all these like minor things that I just don't think it makes any difference. Like I have no idea these things exist. It's just why we just go and make accounts and post and they go viral. It's like ask yourself this: like, do you think any of these like random people that are going viral on TikTok, like not people that are like social media trying to like scale digital marketing, whatever, just like random fucking people, like, do you think any of those people have any consideration for any of this stuff? No, they just make a fucking account and start posting and they go viral because they post good content, right? So they have no idea, so I just think that like people they look into these things way too much. Like what if you notice like most of the things I discussed in here, it's not about distribution, but it's really about content. Like what is actually working right now. That's all that matters. I already made a video about that. No, I don't think there's any difference in terms of success. Everything's the exact same. You find a model, you create a brand, you post high quality content. That's it. Oh wow, another good Asian brand. I think she's also big on TikTok, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, dude, I think you're killing it, man. I'm pretty sure this girl's making money if I'm correct. I don't remember exactly, but like I think she's doing decent. Okay, it seems questions are drying up. We've been going for 90 minutes. I did the best I could this Q&A, and I'll get this uploaded to YouTube. Um, and I'll also get from Europe. Should I go Instagram? It doesn't matter where you're from. The only thing that matters is that you post good content, generally speaking. You can try with a VPN or proxy, but it really doesn't make any difference for social media. Like, you just have to make an account, start posting good content. Like, that's why I recommend the boosting strategy, because it helps you get onto the US pages. But generally speaking, like, if you have good reels, like, you will get US reach. I know that there's some issues with the hair color, with the like multicolored hair, but I think that your brand extends to deeper than just that, Adrian. In my opinion, I think that it's not just that. Like, there's just it was really all over the place. Like, we have models that like have the unique hair color like that, where the hair is kind of a little all over the place, but like we're still able to be extremely consistent with the brand. If that makes sense. Like, it's just yours is all over the place. Like, I'll show you what, and I wouldn't be posting this stuff. I would just stick to this. Just get on Facebook. Facebook's really good. I think you're doing very good. I mean, I don't know what your insights are. I don't know where these audience are from, right? So if you have low clicks, then it's most likely because your audience is from non-premium locations. In which case, like, there are other considerations. Maybe you need to start a new page. Maybe you should try some other social medias. I'm not 100% sure. So I need more data about your account, but generally speaking, like, I think you're doing decent. Like, I don't think you're doing anything wrong, and I think you should just continue everything you're doing. I'm gonna end it there, guys. I'm getting a little bit tired right now, and I think I helped a lot. And a lot of these like micro niche questions, like, it's just we could just go on and on forever about these things. It's not gonna help, right? Like, generally speaking, like, the education lays everything out, and I strongly recommend watching the education, and it really helps a lot. And I hope you guys all continue to do very well. And I'm so far extremely happy with the progress, and I'm going to do the best that I can to keep coming on here and giving you guys these Q&As, and also just providing more education for you guys. I know I sometimes slack on that. I do the absolute best I can. So thank you for your time, and I'll end everything here. Thanks.